got a healthy grocery haul for you today, and I've even got a few tips to share with you homemakers on how to get your family to eat their veggies. So let's get that started. This video is brought to you by Aprondiva. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. Visit us at www.aprondiva.com. So I got comments on my last grocery haul about how healthy it was and how many vegetables I had. And it was a very healthy grocery haul. But here's the backstory for that particular haul. The church was doing a fast and I couldn't really talk about it during the fasting process, but I can talk about it today. And I want you guys to know we were on fruits and vegetables and water for 1 week, just 1 week. So it was more stringent than your typical Daniel fast. And I lost 6.6 pounds and I felt amazing. So I'm going to continue that healthy eating, that less meat, less oil, that kind of thing. So when I went grocery shopping today, the first thing I did was go around the perimeter of the store rather than through the middle because I wanted to repeat another healthy grocery haul. And that being said, in my particular store and in most stores, when you go around the perimeter, that's where they have their produce section, their refrigerated section, their dairy and things like that. And in the middle of the store is where you find a lot of your processed foods, your cereals, your canned vegetables, crackers and cookies and all those kinds of things. So I wanted to hit the perimeter first and then head into the middle for anything that I might need. So let me just show you what I got today, and I will show you that I picked up 2 acorn squashes. Now, one of the things that I know right now is that squash apparently is in season because there's acorn squash that's available, there's butternut squash that's available, and then this week they had this spaghetti squash. It was not available when I got my groceries 2 weeks ago, but they did have some spaghetti squash today. So I plan to use that, and we'll make a meal that will be very spaghetti-like with this spaghetti squash. And one of the things that people had been asking was they wanted to see some of the foods that I made with the things that I purchased. And I did get some vertical video that I was going to use on Instagram, but I think I'll figure out a way to show it with this video. So with this acorn squash, I made roasted squash, and oh my goodness, was it delicious. All you have to do is cut the squash in half, scoop the seeds out with a spoon, and then sprinkle it with a little olive oil, and then rub some salt, pepper, maybe some thyme or sage or rosemary, or sprinkle it with a little cinnamon and nutmeg, and it's delicious. And the oil was 2 points on Weight Watchers, but I didn't add any brown sugar or anything like that because I wanted to keep the point value down. It was so good, just totally delicious. The other thing that I picked up was apples, and we eat a lot of apples, and I also had to buy another apple slicer. So I get some pretty large apples. If you take a look at these apples, you can see they're pretty big, and then sometimes they're even bigger. So the apple slicer that I'd had it for quite a few years, and then sometimes the apples would be so big I'd be pounding like that. Well, I broke the handle off of the one, so I had to pick up another one today. These apples are absolutely delicious, and these are the Gaia apples, G-A-I-A, the Gaia apples at Kroger. And then these are the Granny Smith apples. Well, apple season typically in our area is over by the end of October, but apples were on sale. These Gaia apples were 99 cents a pound. The Granny Smith apples were 99 cents a pound. So I got about a half dozen of each of the Granny Smith apples as well as the Gaia apples. And like I said, sometimes if I'm in a hurry or I just want something light, I'll slice up an apple with my apple slicer and I'll have an apple for breakfast, and an apple is 0 points. Most of the time I like to have some nuts and berries, so I'll have some blueberries, which are 0 points, I'll have some strawberries, which are 0 points. And then I will put those on a half a cup of no fat, fat-free Greek yogurt. And so the strawberries, the yogurt, those are 0 point foods. And then I will add maybe a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half of chopped pecans on top. And if I have some granola that I've made, I'll sprinkle a little granola on there, which is about another 1 or 2 points. And so I can have a very nice nut and berry breakfast that's only about 2, 3 points at the most, depending upon how many pecans and if I'm putting granola on that. And I have been making smoothies. I made smoothies twice last week when we were on our fast. They were absolutely delicious, but I used dates in the smoothies as a sweetener rather than any other kind of sweetener. So right now we're having a heat wave in our city. It's about 30 degrees and the ice on the street is starting to melt. So what's it like where you are? Inquiring minds want to know. Now this is something that I got, and I have seen this before. It's Dave's Killer Bread, and I've seen it before, but I not bought any because it's so expensive. But I saw the bagels, and they're Epic Everything organic bagels. I think they were like $5.99 for this bag, and I did check my Weight Watcher app, and they are like 5 points for a bagel. So I figured as large as they are, I'll probably just eat a half of one at a breakfast meal. So I did get these bagels because I do like having a bagel that's toasted with a little bit of maybe autumn jam or cream cheese or something like that from time to time. And then Kroger also had this bread, 90 cents for a loaf. So it's probably day-old bread, but I thought that works for me. My husband likes to have toast in the morning, so the bread will be fine, and then I'm loving the bagels, so we'll have that. And then of course I needed carrots, so I got carrots. And then my husband loves fruit and he loves cherries, so I got this bag of cherries. They were like $4.99 a pound, so this small bag of cherries, and then this bag of grapes, and grapes were $2.99 a pound, I believe. So you might notice that I didn't get him as many snacks as I normally do. And I'll show you the snacks I got that weren't healthy snacks, because he lost 3 pounds this week as well by following the plan that we were on for the week. So I'm trying to follow up on that to reinforce that. So grapes, cherries, and then he also loves pears. So I got this bag of pears. And I made this kale, butternut squash, and bean soup. And it was absolutely delicious. So when I went to the store today, I picked up some more kale so that I can make that soup again. It also calls for a pound of sweet Italian sausage if you like it sweet. You could use hot Italian sausage, but I don't like the heat. So I did pick up some sausage, and I'll show you that in a minute, but I did get some more kale so that I can make that soup. Also, the zuppa toscana is the soup that you also use kale and sweet Italian sausage in. So I got some of that. out of peppers, so I got 2 green peppers. They didn't have any yellow peppers in the store. They did have the red peppers, so that was why I got a bag of peppers, and I don't see it. I'll get it out in a minute. I also picked up a can of the Grable Country fully cooked turkey. Now I'm trying to top off my preps, and I didn't get much for my preps today. I just got this can of turkey, but when I looked at the canned meats that I had, I didn't have very much turkey, and this small can was like $7, and then the larger can is $11. So I just got this small can today of the boneless turkey. And then I used quite a few mushrooms in our meals last week, and it turned out really well, and my husband really enjoyed it. And so they had this pack here of portobello mushrooms for $2.74. So I'll probably cook these tomorrow just because they're marked down, and I don't know how long they've been on the shelf. But look how big they are. I mean, they're big enough to like make a sandwich, like a hamburger or something. So we'll have that. And then I got a carton of the gourmet blend crimini, shiitake, and oyster mushrooms, and I had been doing some stir fry and different things like that, and they were so good, so I wanted to follow up and continue with that. Now here's the thing, I told my husband, let's just try to continue some of the eating that we've been doing so that we can stay on a healthier track. And I cook pretty healthy for the most part, but I do use oil, I use butter and things like that, and we tend to have meat at most meals. So I'm really going to see how well we can lean into less meat. And I already know it's going to be a problem for us because he tends to want to see some meat with his meal. And full transparency. So yesterday was the first day off of our fast, and we had to go and visit a friend who's in hospice. So on the way home, we needed to stop for lunch, and so he wanted to stop at Culver's. And he ordered a fish sandwich, some fries, and a Coke. And he was just saying how great the Coke was, because of course there was no Coke on our fast. And I ordered a Reuben sandwich, fries, and some kind of a caramel custard or cashew custard ice cream thingy. It was so good. The grease on that Reuben was so delicious. I just wanted to lick my fingers. And I like Reubens, but this was probably one of the best Reubens I've had in a very long time. Got home, doing a few other things last night, got out my phone and started checking my Weight Watcher app to put in what I'd had for the day. That Reuben sandwich was 22 points. That was all my points for the day. So I'm like, okay, you cannot continue to do that. And the other thing is that to continue to eat like that is not conducive to weight loss. So I'm like, okay, we were off the chain yesterday because he made bacon and eggs for breakfast and toast. So we were off the chain yesterday, but I thought today we are getting back on track. So we will have some meat, but we are certainly going to limit how much of it I prepare. And then we'll just see how we do. So I got a bag of carrots because, of course, I cook carrots almost every day. And then I needed some orange juice. We were out. And I like the Simply Orange pulp-free orange juice. And then picked up 8 dozen eggs because, of course, there were no eggs last week on the fast either. And then I also picked up some cans of beans. These are the tri-blend beans, and I've heard Miss Leona on Ebony, Ivy, and Time in the Kitchen talk about them, and I thought, well, let me give these a try. These ought to be good when I'm making tacos or a vegan chili or something like that. So I got these so that I can use them for something like that. And I also like to put these beans in a lettuce salad. And then Kroger's had these black beans. They were like $3.29 for these 4 cans. So they were about 89 cents a can, which was a pretty good bargain because the Goya brand of black beans was like $1.79. And I'm like, okay, I don't need black beans that cost that much. These would be just fine. So we have that. Other things that I picked up and was not on sale now that Thanksgiving is over, Christmas is over. Whole berry cranberry sauce was 2 for $3, which is up from what it was at holiday time, but it's down from what it is like in a few months. These go up to like $2.50 or $2.79 a can. So I picked up 3 cans of the whole berry cranberry sauce because I like to eat that. And sometimes when we have chicken or pork, I like to have the whole berry cranberry sauce as a side dish. Like my husband might like corn, I like cranberry sauce. And then something that I tried this week when I made the vegan taco bowl that Miss Leona showed was the fire roasted tomatoes, and it was so good in there. Now I could not find the fire roasted corn that she talked about, so I'm going to try to continue to look for that because she said it's really good in that recipe. So I'm familiar with the fire roasted diced tomatoes, but corn I couldn't find. So I got these so that I can continue to make either chili. I'm going to do some spaghetti with the spaghetti squash this week or next week. And then of course soups and stews and things like that. You got to have some tomato products. I also picked up a box of the stand and stuffed taco shells. We had a vegan taco bowl last week, and it was like I wanted a taco shell so bad. So I went ahead and picked up some of these this week. When I made the vegan taco bowl, it made such a huge pot of it that I put 2 containers in the freezer. So I'll be able to thaw one out, and then we can have those, but I can add maybe a pound of ground beef to it, and then we'll have ground beef tacos, and we can have them on the taco shells. Or we can have a vegan taco bowl and just put them over a little rice. I used them over potatoes last week because rice wasn't on our diet, but we could have potatoes since potatoes are plant-based, and so I did that. I also picked up some in-made noodles, and these are the real skinny little noodles. These are the noodles I like to use when I'm making chicken noodle soup. The other pasta that I like to get, I could not find, so I just got that. I also picked up this bag of walnuts, which my husband likes to put either the walnuts or the pecans in his oatmeal in the morning. I like the pecans with my yogurt and with my oatmeal. Sometimes the walnuts, but I also like the walnuts in cooking. So I picked up some of these. So now I'm going to get the things that I've got back there. So give me a minute. Let me get these things out of the way and I'll bring those things up. So these are the things that I had back there. And Kroger's had butter, unsalted butter, 2 for $7.49. You had to buy them in these little twin packs. So I got 1 pack of the butter. And I do like using butter to saute veggies and various things like that. I also picked up some Italian gnocchi. I believe this is how you say it, gnocchi or gnocchi. But it's gnocchi with potatoes, and it's like a dumpling, and I really like to have that sometimes with pasta. Or if I'm making like chicken and dumplings, these make the best dumplings. So for you moms out there, if you buy one of those rotisserie chickens, and say you shred it up, and then you cook these dumplings here, get them cooked, and then drop them in a soup, kind of a thick soupy like mixture with the chicken, and you've got chicken and dumplings pretty quick. And it's a great meal for your family, and then you just serve a salad or some kind of green veggie with that. I also picked up some onions. I was out of onions. I cooked so many carrots and onions with potatoes and green beans and so many different things. Green beans with potatoes and onions and mushrooms. Green beans with potatoes and onions. We had carrots with beans and other things. Again, just really working the vegetarian meals. And I used a lot of onions, so I had to get some more of these. And these are the Peruvian Gold sweet onions. I haven't bought this particular kind before, so we'll see how they taste. And of course, you know, you always need some lemons, and so I picked up some lemons, and they're good in smoothies and then in other dishes. And potatoes, I was down to just 2 potatoes because I made fried potatoes, or rather sauteed potatoes for breakfast one morning. Sauteed them with water. After watching Miss Leona, I learned how to saute those, not saute, how to, well, I guess they were, I can't say they were fried, but they were definitely cooked potatoes with water, and they were nice and soft, and they were really, really good. Now I could tell the difference that there was no oil on them, but the potatoes were delicious. And like I said, I did also have some potatoes with our vegan taco bowl, kind of like the picadillo tacos. So, got 5 pounds of potatoes. I also picked up a kitchen timer. Sometimes I'm doing things in the kitchen that I just want to set a timer for, and I usually set the timer on my microwave. Well, truth be told, I burnt out one microwave because I had inadvertently turned on the microwave instead of the timer, and I didn't realize it, and the microwave was going and there was nothing in it, and it burnt it up. So we had to get a new one. So I got this kitchen timer for that. And then also, it can be used for fun with you and your family when you're trying to clean the kitchen. Let's see how quick we can get things done. Or if you're doing your 15-minute zones, you could set it for 15 or 20 minutes and see if you get things done in time. So here is the sweet Italian sausage that I got, and I'm going to use it to make the zuppa toscana. I'll make another pot of that. And then I did make some bean soup, some of this white bean, kale, and squash soup that would also taste really good, probably with some sweet Italian sausage in that. So we'll just see. And it could be that I'll make that white bean soup again, and I'll just make it that way and just save the sweet Italian for when I am making either some kind of ziti, or if I'm going to be making some spaghetti-like dishes. We were out of crackers. We didn't worry about it last week because we couldn't have any, but for moms, one of the things that you can use to give your kids a snack is the Ritz crackers, or, well, I prefer the Ritz crackers, maybe with a little peanut butter on them, or with a small piece of turkey or something like that. We also like to have the Zesta saltine crackers with soups and chilies and stews. So needed to get some more crackers to top these off on our prep shelf. Needed some napkins, so I got those. Those are the brands that I like. And then Kroger's had this Ben's Original Rice, and it was $1.99 a pack if you bought 6 packs. Well, I usually buy 4 or 5 of these, so I just went ahead and got 6. And I got 4 of the whole grain brown rice, and then I got 2 of the coconut jasmine rice. And the coconut jasmine is absolutely delicious. And the brown rice is really good as a bed for the tacos. So I like to have it for that. And then, of course, for just as a side dish, rice is always good. So I picked up 6 of those. And sometimes rice is even good for breakfast too. So my mom used to give us rice for breakfast. We'd have rice and she would put a little butter and sugar in it, and instead of having grits or oatmeal, we'd have rice. And it's really good, and it's something that you can consider using. Also, I needed some grits. We were out of grits, so I picked up some of those because we like to have grits for breakfast sometimes, and I usually will make my husband shrimp and grits for Valentine's Day, which is coming up. And then maple and brown sugar oatmeal, and this is the instant oatmeal, and sometimes he likes to have that. Now I will make oatmeal in the crock pot while I cook it for about 15 or 20 minutes, put some apples and pecans and different things like that in it, and it's really delicious. But when he's in a hurry and he just wants to make his own oatmeal, then we like to use something quick and simple like that. Picked up another bottle of Dawn dishwashing liquid, and I got the green. I'm liking the green right now, so I got some of that. And these are the peppers. Like I said earlier, they didn't have any of the yellow bell peppers. They had some of the red and they had some of the green. So I got this bag of tricolor peppers that has some yellow, red, and orange in it. And I used quite a few peppers, with peppers and like a sauteed squash and peppers and that kind of thing. I've got some zucchini in the fridge that I haven't used, and so I'll be making some sauteed squash with some onions and peppers, so that'll be coming up. And then my husband likes these little boxes of facial tissue. So I got 2 boxes of facial tissue, not Kleenex, facial tissue. Kleenex is a brand, and that's not it. And then these are the snack items that I've got. I got this bag of Lay's classic potato chips, and then the Tostitos restaurant style tortilla chips for us to have when we have our taco soup. Oh, I made some taco soup that was absolutely delicious a couple of weeks ago. So I needed some more chips for that when I make those. So those are all the groceries that I picked up, but I did want to show you some ways to get a few more veggies in with your kids. And one of the things you can do is put your fruit in a bowl on the table so that it's in their eyesight. So when they see it, then they're more likely to ask for it. And then using the apples with the apple slicer really works out nicely. I got turned on to this by my son. He had come to visit and brought his 2 little girls with him, and he's always giving them fruit. And he would have he went out and got an apple slicer, and it slices them into 8 slices. And so you could give 2 children or even 3 children, depending upon how big they are, a couple slices of apples, and they're good. You can put some peanut butter on the apples to kind of increase the nutritional value of that. So that's good for them. You can also give them some celery and put a little bit of celery, put a little bit of peanut butter on the celery. That's a nice little snack as well. And then you could also make smoothies and put the kale and some other veggies in the smoothies, and they will never know. And one of the things that I would do when I was making meatloaf, or if I'm making a soup or something and I really want to sneak something in, you can always puree the vegetable and then put it in, and kids won't even notice it. So there's that. And then I had canned some apples, applesauce. So this is a jar of chunky applesauce that I use, and it's just a little bit of a sugar in it. So it's a nice little snack for the kids, or a nice little side dish. And then this is cinnamon apples, and I love cinnamon apples. I love those Bob Evans fried apples that you get when you go, no, Cracker Barrel. Those fried apples you get when you go to Cracker Barrel. So I made something similar, and so when I want to kind of zhuzh it up and make it more like that, I can put a little bit of a butter in the skillet and then pour these in, and then stir fry them just a little bit, and then I've got those fried apples or glazed apples like they had at Bob Evans. So these are ways that I also add just a little bit of a sweet, a little bit of a dessert without like making a full out apple pie or something big like that. And I have these sitting in the sink, almost forgot. I got some chopped broccoli, and this is for like if I wanted to put it in a stir fry or in some other recipe. And then I got some green beans, because when I made those green beans with potatoes and mushrooms, it was so delicious. And so I'd like to make another pot of green beans with potatoes and onion, that kind of thing. Or green beans are always great in soup. So you can get your kids to eat more veggies that way. And then some baby broccoli florets. So when I want to do a stir fry with, say, the cauliflower and the carrots and that kind of thing, kind of like I get at the Panda Express sometimes, and put that over a bed of rice. And I've got these right here that I can do that. And then one other thing that I forgot in getting your kids to eat more veggies is to give your children raw carrots. Or you could saute the carrot just a little bit, just enough to take some of that crunch out of it, but it's still crunchy enough that they get a good bite, and the natural sweetness kind of comes out in it. And just kind of start giving them carrots like little finger food. Instead of putting a bunch on their plate, especially when they're toddlers, just give them a carrot and let them kind of munch on it, and they'll get used to eating carrots and then other vegetables. And then with your canned green beans, with your toddlers, again, just put a few green beans on their plate, because they're like little finger foods. and the kids will eat that as well. So those are some ways that you parents can get your kids to eat more veggies. So especially when they start to get a little bit of teeth and they're starting to eat some finger foods, start with things like green beans that they can kind of nibble on those, and some carrots that you've cooked just enough to soften them, but they're not like all the way fully cooked. And of course, apple slices. So let me invite you to sign up for my newsletter, The Homemaker's Journal. It'll be chock full of information, tips, tricks, and recipes and things like that to help you on your homemaker's journey, as well as whatever product I'm crushing on that month, recipes and things like that. And if you hate to do laundry, or if laundry is your challenge, sign up for my Laundry Lab Masterclass, and I'm going to be kicking that off with a 10-day in the Laundry Lab challenge. And I will put that link in the description box below as well. Oh, and before I forget, one of the videos that I want you to watch is my 20-item capsule grocery haul, because what it will show you is that all of the things that I picked up today are somehow in that 20-item capsule grocery haul, and I can make many a meal without meal planning or anything like that. Everything that I got, it just goes together. So now for more homemaking and homekeeping inspiration, click this video next.